Our gardening season here in the Midwest where I live is officially over and has come to a close. This footage was actually recorded right before we left for our trip to Tokyo. I was really afraid that it would frost while we were gone, so I wanted to get everything harvested and put up that could be dried before our trip.
Oh my gosh, this is crazy town.
Now that we are home from our trip, I know that we actually had a later frost than really anyone expected, and I probably would have been okay to leave it during the trip, but it was definitely okay to harvest it before, and I'm really glad this job was done because as you can see, it's a pretty big job to get 16 Gomphrena plants put up. I also did my celosia, but I started with the Gomphrena, and I really think that Gomphrena is like the prettiest dried flower ever. I'm really not hugely into dried flowers, but Gomphrena looks just as pretty dried, if not more pretty, than it even does out in the field. I believe I ended up with 12 total bundles of Gomphrena, mostly white, salmon, and purple, and then one tiny little bundle of red Gomphrena. I just love the way this looks. I have no idea what I am going to do with this amount of dried flowers, but for now, I really love that I have them available to me. Maybe some Christmas presents, maybe gifting some stuff for some wreaths for Christmas. I am really excited about its potential. I am also really excited about drying out my celosia. So I attacked this project on a different day than the Gomphrena because it really did take so long to get all of that dried out, but I knew that I couldn't just leave the celosia out in the field to not be dried out. It had to be preserved in some way, and I also had quite a bit of it. So I dedicated another one of my daughter's naps to just going outside, being in the garden, harvesting and bundling all of this beautiful celosia. This was my first year growing celosia, and I am so happy with how the plants turned out. There was a lot of things that I didn't know when it came to growing celosia. These two varieties are called the Rainbow Sherbet Mix and Lagos Spinach. I would definitely grow them again. I cannot tell you if they're the best celosia varieties though, because like I said, this is my first year. As for my process for drying out, I just get them cut down to a manageable size, strip the leaves as best as I can, and then hang them upside down in my garage. And I enjoy this display until it's time to use them. We are back home. We are so excited to be back, and I'm just getting back in the groove of things here at home. I was able to get all of our laundry done from the trip the night we got home, so that's done, which is very exciting. And right now I'm just gonna start prepping some food that we really like to have on hand. So I'm gonna make a huge batch of shredded chicken for 3 different meals that we're gonna have this week, and I'm going to start mixing up some sourdough bread, and then I need to put away some Mexican rice that I just made during lunch. One of my favorite ways to make meals easy for a week is to batch make a bunch of shredded chicken thighs in the Instant Pot. Whenever you make chicken in the Instant Pot, it shreds super easily, and you can get a big batch of it going at one time, and you can use that protein throughout the week. There are certainly more tasty options, but I just love this option for having a protein on hand and keeping meals easy, which is always what I'm looking for whenever we come home from a trip. My sister recently shared a hack on her podcast where you measure the berries before you grind them, and then you grind them and they are already pre-measured, which is such a time saver. Whenever she shared it originally, I thought, how could that save so much time? But then I did it and it is so nice. So I totally recommend that if you are grinding your own wheat berries and making bread from scratch. I am currently trying to experiment with mixing up and stretching and folding bread in larger batches and then freezing it for later. I have tried a lot of different stages to freeze at. I've shaped then frozen, and I have par baked then frozen, and I have cut then frozen, like got it all the way to where it was totally baked and sliced and then froze it. And this time I'm going to try and get it all the way through the refrigerator proof and then freeze it after I score it. So I will keep you guys updated on that. I just really like the idea of making bread in batches. So that is why I am so intrigued and willing to try all of the different stages to find out which one is best and easiest for me. I got the kitchen all the way cleaned up from our big food prep day, and then me and my daughter went out to the garden to collect a final batch of tomatoes for the season before the frost.
You want to get some tomatoes?
Tomatoes. A big tomato.
On the list of things I do not love is the amount of ultra processed foods that are available nowadays. We are only beginning to understand the long-term effects of these, which is exactly why Hiya exists and why I'm excited to introduce them as a sponsor of today's video. When it came to choosing a vitamin for our daughter to take, we immediately knew that we wanted to use Hiya because some vitamins on the market today include 7 grams of sugar, dyes, gummy additives, all stuff I don't want her to have in something that's supposed to be adding to her health. Hiya took the opposite approach when it came to making a vitamin. 0 sugar, no gummy junk, just clean nutrition, and my daughter absolutely loves them. We don't even call it a vitamin around here. She just calls it her snack because she literally thinks that it's like candy. That's how good it tastes to her. I love that Hiya is specifically looking at modern children's diets, and they look at what kids are eating or not eating and are designing the vitamins around those nutritional gaps. Hiya's vitamin was designed with pediatrician and nutrition scientists to make a super powered vitamin that includes 12 different fruits and vegetables and over 15 essential vitamins. Hiya is designed for kids ages 2 and up. You get this super fun reusable bottle that the kids love on your first order, and then the refills are sent straight to your door every single month. I know that you guys will love Hiya for your children just as much as we love Hiya for our daughter, so make sure to head to the link in my description. Hiya is offering my viewers 50% off your first purchase. Go to hiyahealth.com/sunnydays to redeem this offer. This is not available on their regular website, so make sure to go to hiyahealth.com/sunnydays. That's hiyahealth.com/sunnydays, so that you too can have peace of mind that your children are getting exactly what they need. Thanks so much to Hiya for sponsoring today's video. While we were outside in our garden, he started talking to our neighbor in his garden, and he shared all kinds of yummy, tasty vegetables and herbs with us. So I'm going to be cooking with that tonight and the shredded chicken I just made. And likely cooking with this for a little while because there's a lot of good stuff here. Between my garden and my neighbor sharing the fruits of his garden, we got tons of tomatoes, some peppers, some radishes, some delicious bunching onions that were So good. Or maybe they're called non-bunching onions. I'm not really sure, but they were very, very good and a lot of herbs. So I am using them tonight in dinner. We are making a what I call empty out the fridge pasta, where you just make a pasta sauce with all of the veggies and the meat that you have on hand. This particular pasta was really not that amazing tasting. And so I just like to remind myself that not every meal has to be the most incredible meal we've ever eaten. It definitely did feed us for the night. It was good enough, but it probably should have been sausage over chicken, but chicken is what we had. I used a ton of stuff from the garden. Like I said, I used some tomatoes, lots of tomatoes. Also, I took the remaining tomatoes and just cut off the bad spots and froze them all. And I am planning on making some tomato soup with them later this winter. Anyways, I also added an eggplant, some thyme, some fresh parsley, garlic that my neighbor actually gave me from his garden several weeks ago, and the onions as well. I am pretty open about the fact that meal planning and just cooking in general are not my strong suit. I definitely think that I am getting better at it, but it's still just not the thing that comes naturally to me. I'm much more likely to have a tidy home than dinner planned. That being said, one thing that has helped me a lot in always having a meal available is keeping staples on hand that we really enjoy. These sourdough noodles that I'm using in this pasta is just one example of that. I like to have homemade corn tortillas. I like to have fresh bread. That way I always kind of have the base of a meal. I call it a meal formula. So we can do a pasta. We could do a pizza with pizza dough in the freezer, a taco for part of the formula, or we could do a sandwich. It just kind of makes it to where you know that you always have an option if you have those items on hand, and then also some protein on hand and some fresh veggies. You can almost always get a meal thrown together with a little bit of creativity, which is definitely a learned skill that I think I'm getting better at as time goes on. It is a new day. I'm wearing the same outfit because I only have so many pairs of pants that fit me at this stage of pregnancy, and by that I mean literally one. We are keeping dinner extremely simple tonight with chicken Caesar salads. I already have the chicken that I made from yesterday, Caesar dressing for me and my husband. He likes a different kind. Some Parmesan cheese, and all I have to do is wash and cut up some lettuce, and dinner is done. As much as I love sharing really fun recipes, and I like making fun recipes, like following them and trying new things in the kitchen, I also think there's value in sharing that sometimes dinner is literally just this simple, because I think that, at least for me, when it comes to meal planning, sometimes I forget about the really simple meals, and I forget that not every meal has to be that way. And so I want you guys to remember that too. And that's why I think it's important to share both having a lot of fun in the kitchen, which I do, and just getting something with a veggie, a protein on the table that's going to feed us for the night, and then calling that good enough, which is what we're doing tonight. I am trying to keep meals super easy this week, so Today is gonna be a little bit of like a prep day. I still have some chicken left over, even after the chicken Caesar salad. So I am going to do chicken bacon ranch pizzas tonight. And then we are having people over on Sunday this week for pizzas. So I'm gonna pre-make that dough as well. And then I'm gonna bake some sourdough that I stretched and folded 2 days ago. I'm gonna attempt freezing a loaf of that, like freezing a dough ball. Yes, thank you. You got me the flour. Freezing a dough ball. I need to make some ranch. So kind of just like a food prep day. We're gonna need more flour than this. I am starting with making the pizza dough. Whenever I make pizza dough last minute, which is more often than I would like to admit, I do just use instant yeast. And in that scenario, I follow a recipe from King Arthur Baking that has always turned out pretty decent for me. Whenever I am more on my A game and thinking ahead, I will do sourdough, especially if I'm freezing a big batch of bulk pizza dough balls. When I freeze like 10 to 12 at a time, I will do sourdough so I can stretch and fold it. That is whenever I am following my sister's recipes over at Farmhouse on Boone. Both recipes work super well. It's just a matter of how far ahead I have planned on which one I actually use. The next thing I am making is my favorite homemade ranch recipe. You guys ask me about this ranch recipe every single time I make it. It is on Pinch of Yum's website, tucked into her Instant Pot buffalo chicken taco recipe. So if you go to that webpage, you will find the recipe for the tacos, but also for this amazing ranch. We use it all the time. We love it. It's our favorite on pizzas. We use it as the base in chicken bacon ranch pizzas, but also we love it to dip. So I made an extra big batch of this because we have people coming over later this week so that we can all have some yummy ranch to go with our pizzas. My favorite way to make bacon is to, one, make the entire pack at one time. My husband very much appreciates this because he snacks on it basically for as long as he possibly can until he finishes the pack. But my favorite way to do it is to bake the entire pack. I like baking the bacon because I find that, one, it is so much easier, it's faster, it is just as tasty, it's easy to save the grease, and it's so much less messy. So for like all of those reasons, I just really prefer to bake bacon over doing it in a skillet. This was something that I learned from watching one of my friend's moms cook, and whenever she did it, I thought that is such a good idea. I'm never going back, and I was true to that. I always bake bacon. I got all of the pizza dough balls rolled out and par baked. I stored away 6 of them for having people over later this week, and then I assembled 2 for me and my husband to enjoy for dinner. I love doing this because it makes dinner so easy. I can do this during the day while my daughter's awake or while she is napping, and then as soon as my husband gets off of work, all we have to do is fire up the uni and we have dinner basically completely done and cleaned up, which is so nice. I should do this more often than I even do. I hope that these extremely simple meals were encouraging to you as you cook for your family this week. If you're anything like me, it can be hard to remember that extremely simple meals are just as nourishing and amazing for your family as fancy ones that you spend a ton of time on. There is definitely a time and place for both, but simplicity is a really good thing. So I do hope that this is encouraging to you. And as always, thank you so much for joining me here on Our Sweet Sunny Days. I hope you guys have a wonderful fall week.